Hello beautiful ladies, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be showing you how to make a vegetarian kosher lasagna. So one thing you should know about me, when I cook in the kitchen, I don't really use measurements. I kind of throw things in the pot and do things for taste more than anything else. So if I don't really have specific measurements, that's why. But let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up 2 onions, and I'm just going to dice them. I'm not going to do anything fancy. They're going in with our Beyond Meat. That's what we'll be using today, is a meat substitute. They just got their kosher certification. Woohoo! Very exciting. And since my husband has a soy allergy, we can't use a lot of different kinds of fake meats. This is one that we can absolutely use, and I love it. It tastes delicious. It'll go really well in this lasagna. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, slice it in half, and chop it up. One of the things that I love about this recipe is just how simple it is. I kind of came up with this on my own. I read a few different lasagna recipes and took the best things from each one and then just made my own recipe. So I'm only cutting up 1 onion because I'm only going to be using 1 pound of the Beyond Meat, and I don't want there to be more onion than there is meat. So I'm just gonna put that forward here. So while the oven is heating up, you might hear that whirring sound. That's the oven. I have this induction cooktop in front of me. I bought this specifically for these videos so that I could make food in front of you, since my stove is over there and it's not the best for filming. So I'm going to fill up this pot with water, and we're going to boil our lasagna noodle. Now with lasagna noodles, you don't want to overcook them because they can get mushy very, very quickly. You're cooking them and you put a lot of different kind of moisture in the food. So you want to get these really al dente, more than totally cooked, which means you're going to probably want to boil them for like 10 to 12 minutes rather than 12 to 14 minutes. Now these are from Hy-Vee, and these are OU kosher. For those of you who don't know, the kosher certification on a lot of boxes is a O with a U inside, or it's a circle with a K or a star with a K. Things like that tell us that these are kosher. So if you're looking for lasagna noodles and you're in the Nebraska area, then these will do you. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of olive oil into this water because I want to make sure that these lasagna noodles don't stick together. That would be a really annoying outcome. So what we do is you put in a little bit of olive oil just to make sure that those noodles don't stick together. So while this water is coming to a boil, I am going to put some olive oil in this pan, just a little bit, maybe a little more than that. And then I'm going to start frying up the onions. Those onions are now going to be mixed in with my Beyond Meat, but first we want to fry these up. So we've got this coming to a boil and we've got our onions frying. They smell delicious. What I'm going to do in the meantime is make up our cheese mixture. So in Omaha, we have a hard time getting Parmesan cheese that's kosher, so I don't really have any to work with. Instead, we're going to be using mozzarella and ricotta. So the mozzarella we're just going to lay on top, but the ricotta we're going to do something a little more special with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of this ricotta cheese, crack an egg into it, put some oregano, salt, and pepper in, and then we'll have a little bit more of a delicious flavor from that ricotta. Ricotta can tend to be a little bit bland, so if we put in the stuff that we want to make it delicious, it'll be even better. So like I said, I don't really like to work with measurements, so I'm just going to spoon some of this into this bowl right here. So I just spooned about a little more than half of this ricotta package into this glass bowl here. And I am going to crack an egg into this mixture. Now before I mix that ricotta cheese mixture together, I'm actually going to add my meat into this pan, if I can get it out of the package. And again, it's fake meat. I'll just repeat myself, just for anybody who's only just joining us. And I'm going to mix this in with my onions. We got something that kind of looks like this, and I'm just breaking it up into smaller pieces so that it becomes more of a meat sauce. So this is what the meat mixture is looking like. And over here we've got our water almost coming to a boil. And over here we've got our ricotta, egg, and cheese mixture. So now that this is cooking and sizzling up and this is coming to a boil, I can continue on with my ricotta cheese mixture. So I'm just taking my whisk and I'm beating this egg into my ricotta cheese. And I'm just gonna do that until it's completely blended together. And before I actually finish doing that, I am going to add a couple of seasonings. So what I'm going to be adding to this is just a little bit of, if I can find it, I'm gonna do a little bit of oregano, a little bit of paprika, and a little bit of salt and pepper. So the first thing we're gonna do is throw in a little bit of oregano. Now what I usually do is until I see kind of the top is covered, I feel like that's a good place to stop. And now I'm just gonna put in a little bit of paprika and just a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And now we mix it together. And as you're mixing it, you'll kind of see the color of all of your spices in your mixture, and you can kind of tell, at least for me, whether or not you feel like there's enough of the oregano, of the paprika. I mean, it's easy for me to look and see, okay, I don't think there might be enough oregano because I'm not seeing it as often as I'm putting this mixture together as I would like. Our Beyond Meat is cooking up nicely. It smells really, really good. Okay guys, so the noodles are done. We're going to turn this off here, and I'm going to lift the lid. Oh, that's steam. I've grabbed some more tools from the other side of the kitchen. This is going to be the pan that we're going to make our lasagna in. And I'm going to use this cookie sheet with a paper towel over it to take these noodles and lay them flat. I don't, like I said before, I don't want them sticking to each other. You can already see these two are sticking to each other. And for the meat here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in some marinara sauce, and I'm just going to dump in a whole lot of that. Again, no measurements. And I'm just going to take this spoon. We won't mix and match, I'll wash it off in between. But I'm going to just mix this all in with our meat mixture. And it's going to look something like that. So as you can see here, this is our meat mixture. We've got marinara sauce, onions, and some of that fake meat. And here are our cooked noodles. And here's the ricotta cheese now that it has been mixed together. Now I've still got my pan here, and even though it's not on the stove, I'm going to throw in some Italian seasoning and a little bit of garlic powder. Now normally I would do this on the stove, but because we're using the induction cooktop, things are a little bit more, you know, out of the normal for me. But this is still pretty hot, so I don't think it will make too much of a difference. Okay guys, so I shifted our view over to the pan here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take enough of this meat sauce to cover the bottom of the pan. So you don't want to take all of it because you want to have some layers, but we're just going to take enough that we can get a good cover of the bottom of the pan. Next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to lay out these layers of the lasagna. And I think we're gonna do four layers. So you wanna make sure that they overlap so that the whole lasagna sticks together. And then I'm going to take this ricotta mixture and I'm just going to spread it over the top. Now we're going to take some mozzarella cheese and sprinkle it over the top of this. Next, we're going to take another layer of the meat sauce. Next up, another layer of noodles. And we just repeat the process. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this, and then we'll pop it into the oven. And if you run out of meat sauce, just do what I'm doing. Pour in a little bit of marinara sauce. So I've covered up my lasagna with some Reynolds wrap. I'm going to pop it into the oven at 375 for about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll take off the Reynolds wrap and put it back in at 400 degrees for about 10-15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on what I think it needs. Then we'll pull it out and see what it looks like. And that's the finished food. I always say that's the finished look, so I'm wondering if I should play with that's the finished food. You guys tell me. I'm gonna give this a taste and see how it is. It looks and smells really good. Yeah, you'll like this, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please subscribe to my channel and my blog if you haven't already. Head over to my Twitter and Instagram and follow me there, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!